What's going on, everybody? Brady from Nat&Brad here, and I hope everyone is doing okay on this great Wednesday evening at the time of filming this video. Anyhow, look, I'm going to get straight to it, right? I am going to show off my PlayStation 2 collection in this video. Now, granted, a little bit of a disclaimer here because I know I got some family watching. Some of these games are my brother's games. However, big however here, I saved them from the elements. My parents had them in a box in storage in our garage. So, yeah, I guess I'm claiming these games as my own, but thank me later for it, brother of mine. I saved them from the elements. So, anyhow, let's get into it. We're going to open it up with a movie franchise game that I think a lot of us are going to love, which will be Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Look, there's no other way to say it. Terminator's just badass. I think it speaks for itself. So, yeah, Terminator 3. Next up, we have Sonic Mega Collection Plus. Now, look, we all love Sonic. I grew up with it personally, especially with the Sonic Adventure games, which, by the way, those are not included in this collection. I wish, but they're not. But the Sonic Adventure games were awesome. Classic Sonic, it's still pretty fun. I wouldn't say it's the world's greatest thing. I know some of you are going to want to fight me on that. But Sonic, great games. And you know what? I know this is a little bit off topic here, but while we're talking about Sonic, Sega, really? Give us Sonic Adventure 3, or at least give us a new Sonic game with the Chow Garden minigame. Come on. That was the best minigame ever. By far the most addicting. And for some reason, they just go out of their way to not give us that minigame anymore. It's quite stupid, in my opinion. But anyhow, moving on. Soul Calibur 3. Actually, this is the only Soul Calibur game I have not ever played. I just picked it up the other day. I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm actually committing to Final Fantasy VII Classic, which there might be a video on that coming after I beat the game. You know, speaking of that, I understand why everyone's calling it the greatest Final Fantasy game ever made, but that's a story for another day. Moving on, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Xeon. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Gundam was more of my brother's thing, to be honest. I've always thought it was kind of cool. Big battle mechs, whatnot. It's cool in its own way. It's not exactly my thing, but still pretty neat. We have Mobile Suit Gundam Encounters in Space. Another Gundam game, self-explanatory. Now, I think this goes without saying that now those two are definitely my brother's games, but they're on my shelf, so it is what it is. Next up, we have Medal of Honor Frontline. Classic Medal of Honor games are actually pretty cool. You know, when it comes to this generation of gaming, and again, I'm going to hot take, time for a hot take, right? I prefer Classic Medal of Honor over Classic Call of Duty. They're both pretty cool, but if I had to absolutely pick, this is the direction we're going. Another Medal of Honor here. European Assault. Pretty wicked. And Speak of the Devil. Call of Duty Finest Hour. I don't even need to explain Call of Duty. I mean, come on. I think all of us know what it is at this point. Next up, we have Pirates Legend of the Black Buccaneer. I actually don't know too much about this game. I just think pirates are cool. Pick it up for that reason alone, to be honest. Now, a little bit of story time here. These next two games were actually the reason that my brother got a PlayStation 2 back in the day. He pretty much, I remember, how do I even say this? I remember Mom getting him the PlayStation 2 whenever this game right here launched. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. I remember that night. We really didn't have too much to do with the PlayStation 2 after the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games, which also Budokai 2. But that was pretty much it. The only two games that I had on PlayStation 2, which one of them is lost, sadly, but the other one is coming up in this video. Um, the one that's lost is Godzilla. I don't even remember what it's called. It was a follow up to Godzilla Melee, I believe it was. Um, I had that game on PlayStation 2. I thought it was a great game. I actually have it on classic Xbox over there on the shelf, but that's a story for another day. But anyhow, it kind of sort of fell off the face of the earth. It might have ended up in one of my mom's mini garage sales, sadly. But nonetheless, it is not here anymore. But anyhow, moving on, we have SD Gundam. Little like chibi Gundam. Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm not the world's biggest fan of this. If I'm going to get into Gundam, it's going to be Gundam. And this ain't it, Chief. I'm not getting into that. Next up, we have Kessen. I don't know too much about Kessen. I believe it's like a real-time strategy game. Which, actually, it's kind of funny. The back of the case actually says that too. But it's a strategy game. I mean, probably typical RTS. I'm not going to go crazy on this. But it's pretty cool pickup. I think I only got it for like $3. I mean, for $3, why not, right? Star Ocean, Till the End of Time. Now, a lot of us are probably familiar with Star Ocean. This is a RPG game. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not too caught up on the lore when it comes to Star Ocean. I just know that the games are all over the place. You got some on PlayStation, you got some on the Nintendo Switch, and probably even some other places I'm not even sure about. But nonetheless, we got it. Star Ocean, Till the End of Time. I found this game specifically for my wife, Natalie. This is a part of her childhood. We actually have 2 of her childhood games in this collection that'll be shown off today. But we have Frogger, The Great Quest. She says she had a lot of memories with this. She brought it up before. Oh man, a little bit of a heart attack there, but I forgot the game's actually in the PlayStation. I was like, come on now. But she says she has a lot of memories with this. I think that's pretty awesome that, she grew up playing video games, her and her siblings. So she mentioned it one time. I just knew I had to get it for her. So there we go. Another game I picked up for Natalie. It's something else she's a huge fan of. That is the Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We've all seen these movies. Hell, some of us even read the book. Fun fact, this is kind of embarrassing. It's actually not really, because who cares? But in school, we had to take AR test, right? Basically, if you don't know what that is, you read a book, you take an online quiz of the book, and if you pass it, you pass it. It's typical grading system. A, B, C, D, failed, right? F after that. So, I was in elementary school, and listen, little Brady didn't like to read. Hell, big Brady don't even like to read. So, what was I going to do to get the grade? I was going to watch the movie and take the AR test. And you know what? They always feed you that propaganda, right? Where it's like, oh, the movie's so much different than the book. And you know what? It probably is. It probably is. But hey, guess what? Your man right here made an 80 on the AR test after watching the movie. If any of my elementary school teachers are watching this now, you know the truth. 24 years later, oh well, big deal. It is what it is. Anyhow, next up on the list, we have another movie game I picked up for Natalie. Curious George. Look, I loved Curious George when I was a kid, and Natalie probably loved him twice as much as I did. So at that point, you have to get a game. You just have to. You have to have Curious George in the collection when you can. No shame in having Curious George around. Oh, here we go. One of my 2 original games. This is the other one right here. Nickelodeon's The SpongeBob SquarePants Movie. Sick game, actually. This was actually a good game. I went back and revisited it about a week and a half ago. I didn't beat it again, but I just went back and played it. And I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty good for the time. I ain't gonna lie. I don't got anything bad to say about this game. Next on the list here, we have a game that I'm actually look. I think it's a good game. I really do. And that is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. I think it's a great game. It's kind of sort of more of a beat 'em up than a traditional Mortal Kombat game. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that the studio Midway did this. I think they got creative with this. You know, it's a pretty fun game with a pretty fun IP, right? So big W's there. Now, next up on the list, we have Natalie's other childhood game, and that is none other than Teen Titans. This game, I've never actually played it, but it looks like it's a lot of fun. I have nothing against Teen Titans. I grew up watching it, as many of you probably did, right? But this is the game that Natalie just had to have again. So we picked it up, right? Now, the PlayStation 2 version of the game, I really don't think there's going to be that dramatic of a difference, right? But the classic Xbox version of the game is the more uncommon and way more expensive game. But essentially, it's the same game. Probably is going to look and run a little bit better on the classic Xbox, but is it $80, $90 more? Is it worth 80 or 90 more dollars? No, probably not. Just it's an old game. Just buy the cheaper version and play the game, right? Now, here we go. This is probably the jewel in my entire collection right now. This is my game, not my brother's, mine. And my brother actually missed out on this game. He had all the other Dragon Ball Z Budokai games. I think Budokai 1. I don't even remember. I know we had it, but I don't remember for what system. But we missed out on essentially the final game in the franchise. And I was finally able to pick it up. Of course, I paid for it, but I had in-store credit with other trade-ins, other things in my collection I was willing to part ways with. But here we go, folks. Dragon Ball Z Infinite World. You have no idea how long I had been waiting to play this game. It may say Infinite World, but it is basically Budokai 4, which, you know, don't take my word for it. It says it on the back of the case. The best of the Budokai series. This game is so much fun. It is so much fun. They took the best of Budokai and they just further enhanced it. This is a pretty sought after game. Like I said, folks, unfortunately I paid for it with in-store credit. Very, very worth it. I adore this game. It is going to be something that I'm going to be playing a lot. But like I mentioned earlier, I am fully vested in Final Fantasy VII. Full video on that, by the way. Shameless future plug for a video. But alrighty, folks, that is it for my PlayStation 2 collection. Excuse me. It's not a lot of games, but it's only going to get bigger. Because like I said, guys, I don't have a lot of nostalgia with PlayStation. I only have just that little point in my life where we got a PlayStation 2 basically to play a specific game. So, yeah, I am 28 years old and I'm just now getting into classic PlayStation. But hey, better late than never. But anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. There will be a follow-up video with my PlayStation 3 haul. It was a massive haul, but I'm not going to film that in the same video because then the video is going to take way too long and nobody wants to watch a long video. I like to get straight to the point. But anyhow, folks, keep your eyes peeled for that video. It will be coming up in the near future. And until then, thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.